everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited today. We're talking about the Spring into Love movies. Everyone but shifting gears because we did a full solo episode recapping that one. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about the other movies, the 5 movies in Spring into Love. And it's going to be real fun. Love talking about Hallmark Channel movies. And we're also going to do a preview of the upcoming, I don't even know what they call it anymore, summer movies, whatever. We'll talk about those. And I am Rachel Wagner, and Jazzman's here.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how are you doing?
I am doing good. I just got back from camping with work. 13 troops later. I'm tired, y'all.
I bet.
My knees feel it. My knees feel it. I was out there, y'all, pitching tents and whatnot.
I can't think of anything worse than going camping for your job.
You know what? You know what? At least I got s'mores. That's all that matters, okay? I lit my own Hallmark version, except for, I'm not going to lie, there was a hot ranger guy. I'll tell you guys the story later.
Oh, good.
Just to say, I backed into a pole, tried to reverse.
Uh-oh. You were quite taken with this ranger, huh?
No, he showed up after the fact.
Oh, okay. Wow, it sounds like it was an eventful trip.
It was a metro trip for sure.
Yeah. Well, very good. You're gonna be well, if we get a Jazzman Penn's Hallmark movie, a screenplay.
Just saying, that was 2.
Camping, love, something like that. How's that never been made?
You know what?
I feel like we need to make this happen.
I think we need to make it happen. I put it on the list of the other movie book artists we're writing about.
Yes, that's right. Well, so we had this Spring into Love, and I don't know about you if you agree, this was not a very strong group. There were some that I liked more than others, but all together,
it was definitely a roller coaster of spring, and I feel like this whole collection for this year is testament of our weather here in California. Bipolar.
Yeah.
in a good way. Like, it's sunny, it's cold, it's raining, it's hailing, by the way. Oh, we're back to 80 degrees, but now we're at 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, if you don't like the weather in California, wait 5 minutes. What they always say.
Like, just bring a jacket, bring everything you need. Like, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Hallmark right now, but 2024 in general has just not been that great.
It's been rocking point where I'm slowly catching up with the older movies from February and like January. I'm like, oh, I did not know. Okay, now I can watch it.
I guess a couple of the Jane Austen ones I enjoyed, but yeah, it's just it's been rough. But we'll dive in. We'll talk about them. I mean, I guess for the record, did you see Shifting Gears? Did you watch that one?
I did not, and that's next on my list. I was like, how did I miss this out of the whole lineup? It was just
people will definitely want to check it out. Our recap that I did, it was real fun. We did our kind of deep dive because it was not only a Tyler movie, which we get excited about, but it was also the first of this Make or Mark director series that they're doing. I wish I had loved it. It's not like awful. I thought it was very basic, but it was fun enough, I guess. But anyway, it was fun to recap it, so we will check that out. So, and they just announced, I think, 2 new hires, whatever, for the Make or Mark. So that's going to be fun to see see a bunch of new female directors getting to work with Hallmark. So
definitely,
that's good. Yeah. Ho ho ho! We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Well, let's dive in, and we'll just spend a couple minutes on each of these, some of them more than others. But we start out with an Easter Bloom. This was the Dayspring movie for this season, and this was on the 20th. This was for Easter, and it starred Amy Teagarden and Ben Hollingsworth, and director Anthony C. Mecchi. Struggling to save her farm, a woman enters a winter floral design contest. And I do think that undersells it a little bit. It's technically true, but it's really not what the movie is about a lot more than that. This movie is one of those movies that has obvious flaws. Like, I can totally understand why somebody could pick this apart and pick it apart well. It's got obvious flaws. I mean, why he decided to put on that accent is a mystery. Like, it makes no sense. It goes in and out, in and out. It doesn't do anything for the character. There's just no reason. It's only a distraction. And so that made no sense. And like other obvious flaws, like the green screen farm.
Gosh, that was killing me.
It was atrocious. Like, just don't have that shot. Just have her, like, you can make up a little bit of land with tulips or
something.
Anything better than that. It looked terrible.
At least give me the fake flowers from my Dollar Tree. I would have been like, okay,
yeah,
save something. If you can save some food for commercials, you better save some fake flowers somewhere.
Yeah. It just looked bad. It looked terrible. So all of that, I thought most of the competition stuff was pretty boring. I didn't really care about making the perfect flower arrangements and all of that stuff. So all of that, big flaws. But I have to say that I still kind of liked it.
Like, I can say that too. I like the spiritual aspect of like about hope, about overcoming like her father, about their connection with flowers. But as I was watching this about the whole flower competition and stuff, I was like, I feel like I watched this movie before. And I'm like, wait, I have. I watched When Love Blooms on Up TV with Sarah Powers and Thomas.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I was saying, like, this is the exact same movie.
That didn't have the religious
they did not.
But yeah, the competition part definitely.
And
of course, they have the Tulip movie on Hallmark with Fiona Gubelman. I forget what that one's called.
Me too.
That movie was so boring. Oh my gosh. It's one of my, I really don't like that one. But yeah, I mean, it's not like a new concept, but like, I really appreciated moments in the script, like in particularly when she tells him that her faith has been struggling. And he was like, he said something to the effect of that faith goes up and down. It's the person I care about and the journey, the faith journey. And that's so rare in like a faith-based film to have a really sort of nuanced, to say, like, for a faith-based film to be able to say, it's okay if you don't believe right now. It's fine. I value you as a human, not for where you're at as far as your faith. I thought that was a really strong moment.
Rachel, I'm probably crying within the first like 10 minutes of this podcast. But no, it was true. I really connected on that level.
Yeah.
In there, like my face shaking up and down, like, it's real. I'm sitting here like, wow, like I'm really getting this heartstring connection. I'm like, where was my tissues?
Yeah, because I mean, I guess I have been in a little bit of a funk the last little bit, been struggling a little bit. And I just felt really validated by that moment that like it was very like accepting and kind, and sometimes faith-based films can not be that way. They can be really judgy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and basically paint anybody who doesn't believe as like a villain.
That part. And it
Yeah.
wasn't this case, and I appreciate that. And I
Yeah.
love the writer that did this piece in these lines because it just spoke to me on that level. Like, okay,
It was so
I get what
loving.
you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate that too. And I thought Amy was very good in this
Oh
movie.
yes. Oh yeah, of course. Like even like her other movies that she have done in the past as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, she's on a great path so far with some of these Hallmark movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
have
mean,
been
she's been real strong lately. I liked her Christmas movie. I liked this.
the autumn
And
movie. I feel like oh
yeah, yeah. I mean, really, yeah, I liked that one with it was Autumn in New York or whatever.
yeah.
That one. That
Mm-hmm.
one was good.
Yeah,
I
definitely,
liked it.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah. And she's able to bring like a certain degree of humor and even in these ones that are a little bit more serious. I just thought,
Mm-hmm.
and when she is like struggling to go into the chapel, she just because that's it just all of the it just reminds her, triggers her basically of her grief
Mm-hmm.
and loss and memories with her, with her mother and all of that. And I think that that is very true to life, that that I'll have things where I mean I've been very fortunate that I have not lost a anybody in my immediate family, but I have lost all of my grandparents at this point, and a few other people in my life. And I, even from those losses, like sometimes I'll just see something and it'll trigger and be like, oh my gosh, I'm missing my grandma so much, or missing my grandpa so much. And, my grandma loved anything that was like my grandma loved like tap dancing and anything that was kind of like a show. And so sometimes I'll go to one of these Broadway shows, where there's tap dancing or there's, that kind of she loved the Rockettes, that kind of experience, and and it'll just make me miss her so much. It can be overwhelming.
Oh no, I definitely agree. Like, was it like maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? I was in like Five Below, and I found my little cousin's like favorite book. Like, it was like this dog book, like
Mm-hmm.
him going to bed and everything. I literally memorized that book, had it down to T, reading him when he was like little, and it just triggered me. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't like,
Yeah.
leave out the store. But no, like for her to lose a parent, like especially someone that raised her
Yeah.
in that sense, it was just like I connected with her. I understood
Yeah.
that.
Because it's not about closure. People always talk about closure. That's not a reality. There's like
Oh, no.
a function now, not a closure. Those wounds are always there. It's about like, honoring their memory and, and going forward. But yeah, I agree. I have the same thing that happens. Like when I see anything with the Rockettes or anything with like, I don't know, there's just certain things that make me think of my grandma and I miss her so much. She just loved making anything like beautiful and cute. Like she loved like a themed party, like making anything like, yeah. And I love stuff like that. And I don't know, you just miss them. You just miss them.
And then sometimes I feel as though, even though sometimes we have those wounds definitely will turn into scars where you have those reminders.
Yeah.
Of
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was creeping here and there. And we might kind of open up a little bit, like, no, like,
yeah.
We're
And
okay.
and I could see why she wouldn't want to go into the church, especially if she felt judged, and also, having to deal with that pain, but then also just seeing the flowers and, just, I totally got it.
Mm-hmm. That was their connection. She got her first flower back from her dad. Like that was their bond. That was their connection. And just seeing it, it was just like she was still grieving. She was still processing. It happened within a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my friends all the time, or people I know, like, you can't judge anybody, but no one can ever tell you how to grieve and how fast to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
Grieving is on your own time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Period.
absolutely. I might see it. I see who did the I'm gonna look this up. Who did the screenplay? Michael Grimm. I think I have him on the try to see if he'd come on because I really thought that he did a good job.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
It is extremely difficult to write faith-based content and make it nuanced and I admit that I hold these movies on a bit of a curve. I judge these movies on a bit of a curve because so many of them are terrible. That yes, this movie has lots of flaws, but it was certainly better than I expected it to be.
Definitely. And then I can definitely see him if he goes into, especially to count on the Christmas for a faith-based movie. I can definitely see this happening and being amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Let me see what else he's done. Looking. Oh, he did the Gift of Peace. Oh,
okay.
And he did the Blessing Bracelet. I guess it's just his thing. So he keeps getting better. Every single one has been better, I would say.
Like, I'm gonna pitch this to you if you're listening. Like, if we get a Bethlehem situation of going, one of our major stars going back in time and recreating, like, the Bethlehem and Jesus' birth, like, I'm here for this.
I do have to say, I think the Dayspring movies in general have been pretty good. I mean, better than I expected, that's for sure. I mean, I would say The Gift of Peace was pretty like nuanced and it was a good, well acted and it wasn't really a romance. That's the only reason that it's just not my thing. But like, it was pretty good. And I mean, Blessing Bracelet, I had things about it I didn't love, but again, I'm grading on a curve. I feel like they've been pretty successfing, the Dayspring movies.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
And I love the fact that Hallmark is doing them because I just think it's cool because, GAC tried to kind of claim that space and be like, oh, we're the ones making like righteous material and content and whatever. And Hallmark's like, knock, knock, we're here. We're doing it too.
I love how they're now navigating and creating that lane for them. Like, no, yes, we are about romance, but also we do have a little bit of faith content. We do have it during different parts of the year.
That's right.
So I'm here for it.
They can do it too. So I did really appreciate it. And so, yeah, I would probably give this one four crowns.
Definitely 4 crowns. And Miko did too, because he walked right in like, great, you're talking about Hallmark movies without me. I'm like, I'm sorry, son. This has to happen.
Yeah.
And he was watching with me, y'all. So he paid attention.
Yeah. And like I said, that scene where she's talking about her faith, I think it was really good. It was the highlight of the movie. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So then we had the Blind Date Book Club. This was on the 6th. This stars Robert Buckley and Aaron Krakow and director Peter Benson, writer Nicole Baxter. A Nantucket bookshop owner known for matching others finds connection with a best-selling author who visits her store. So what did you think overall of this one?
Okay, Hallmarkies, listen. The first time I watched it, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
The second time I watched it, it took me a minute. I know, right, Miko? It took me a long time to get through it. It only picked up towards the end. I was like, what am I watching? I'm sorry. Some of you are probably like, I love this movie, but I'm like, I get the idea, I get the plot, but Miranda Jackson, it was a no for me.
Well, I mean, so I've only watched it the one time, but I was also kind of disappointed in it, so I don't blame you. I think there are some things going for it. I do think both these leads are really charming, and I think they have like pretty good chemistry. I think, the whole setting I like. I think it was really cute and charming, and I'd like to go to this bookstore. And but my main problem was with the script. I just there was so little conflict. Like it was weird to me. I'm like, how do you get this greenlit? Where like, yes, she has like the mild conflict of, is she going to sell the store or not? Okay, but most of the movie was spent of him like wanting to write this other kind of book and then having the book club read it and give honest and frank feedback of what they thought. And like, that was a problem. I didn't understand like why, like, I mean, I get it. That would be like somewhat awkward to be there and people be like, oh, this wasn't a very good book, blah, blah, blah. But like, wouldn't you rather have than like just people be like lying? Like, I mean, I just, there was just no conflict. Like, there was nothing. It was so like, it was just kind of like, okay, I guess I like watching these people, but like, how did you get the script greenlit? Like, there's nothing happened. That's what I wrote in my plot. I was like, there's no plot, no conflict. Did he not want like honest feedback about his book? Like, what?
I definitely agree. I'm just sitting here like, I know the reason why. Please tell me if I'm wrong, Hallmarkies, but I feel like the spring movie themes have been with certain actors in our movies.
Yeah.
Which call the heart, which I'm totally fine with that. You know,
I just don't understand why they didn't give him more to do. Like,
it was lazy.
Like, what did they want? Like, I guess like in his dream world, he would be at the book club and everybody would be like, this was the most amazing book. But like, did he want them to lie? I just don't understand what he wanted. Like,
I guess
it's like, again, I can see how it would be awkward, but it's not conflict to have people being honest about your book. Like, and you being, I don't know. It was just like, his character I thought was terribly written and didn't make much sense to me.
He was more insecure in that sense. He was very insecure.
Yeah.
Because he's coming from a pen name to his real name, so he's getting his own insecurities of his personal life shatter. Yeah. Like,
it was like he was offended though. And I'm like, again, I can see how it would be awkward and uncomfortable, but they're not lying. Like, they're telling you the truth. Like, it's, I felt like the movie was trying to say that those people were in the wrong for having an opinion and expressing it at book club, which is what you're supposed to do. Like, that's what book clubs are for.
Exactly, because the Jane Austen book club would have ate his book up so bad. But
yeah, but like, how you think of some of these Hallmark forums where they act like you're a terrible person because, I mean, that's why I'm not in the forums, because I just can't. I can't stand the thought police of people telling me I have to think this way and I have to, it's like we in general try to be kind of positive on the podcast, lean positive if possible, but like, I will never like silence somebody because they have an opinion.
And that's why it's called reviews. Like, everyone has a different take on it. Like, exactly. We have different restaurants or a different book suggestion. Like, yeah, I may love the book, but I may suggest it, but maybe that's not their forte. Like, that's why
I wouldn't want to be in a book club if I couldn't express my opinion about the book.
Right? Because I need to know, because you're not speaking up about your book. So I'm like, we're talking about it, but what was your objective for this book? Because we think it was a mess. But after they found out who he really was, we like this book though, but this was just still trash.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and there were some like cute scenes of them like going on dates and like, and there was a nice early kiss. And I thought they had like decent chemistry, but I just felt like the screenplay was very weak. And, Nicole Baxter, she is like probably the queen. I'm sure she's a lovely human. Absolutely. We've never had her on the podcast, but she is so hit and miss. I think more than any other Hallmark writer, she can really blow me away. Like The Presence of Love, one of my favorite, and then like Aloha Heart, which was terrible. And then she has ones that I like We Wish You a Merry Christmas. That was good. Fashionably Yours, I did not like at all. So what are you gonna do?
It's just like rolling the dice. What script do I pull out from my bag?
Yeah. And I didn't really understand the purpose of this NPR reporter lady, Joanna Newmarch's character. Like, what was her purpose in the story? Like, what did she add to the narrative? I'm not really sure.
I don't know. Presence. It was just...
She was kind of critical of of her, of Aaron, and of, I don't know. I didn't really, it's been a bit since I saw it, sorry. But I just
It's
remember
okay.
thinking
Me too.
like, I just remember thinking, why was she in this movie? What did she add? Nothing.
Just like the script, it added
Yeah.
nothing. No character development, things I would have saw. Like, is that going to be the case? I don't remember the ending of the movie. Did they get together or kiss? I remember they kissed at the end.
Which
But
one? Which other movie?
oh well, no, this movie right now.
Oh,
I know
this.
they end, but I feel as though like
Yeah.
he could have like he had money. He could have bought the bookstore. And like they could have just revamped the bookstore of like, the blind date situation.
Yeah, she decides not to sell it. And that's the other thing. They could have done way more with the whole blind date book club matchmaking element. There really was not much.
Like
in
if I could
matchmaking.
rewrite this could be like she's the blind date book person that pairs people with different books and stuff like that, and they get
Yeah, that would
together.
be really cute. Like, what if you
A
had
matchmaker situation.
what if you had like a story where blind date book club and like say two people that get matched on like Jane Eyre or whatever, and then you see
Yes.
if they both like it or both don't like it. Oh, maybe this is a match, right? Or like and the whole time that they're reading, they could be like chatting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get matched with somebody and you're like, oh, he has the same opinions as I do about this book, or different opinions, and that intrigues me. Like you could do like a whole cute sort of setup, and then you finally meet at the book club, and you've gotten to know each other through this book.
Like a theme situation, like it had, like how she did the flower thing at one of the book blind book club things. She could have had the Jane Austen theme. She could have this theme for this author. That would have been such a boom really where cute. People had to go.
Yeah.
And that's when the author comes like, wait, do they do this for my book? It could have for his book. And then like
it could be like Christmas Pen Pals, which is brilliant, but with books.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get ideas.
Yeah. There you go, Hallmark. You gave you a free movie idea.
Exactly. We like some credit though, but here's a free movie idea.
But yeah, not much done with that whole idea of her being matchmaking.
Yeah.
Owner known for matching others with very little. This was not like an Emma story.
No.
So yeah, it's just not great.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking yesterday, because I really didn't like this weekend's the movies I watched this weekend, that I was like, maybe I was too hard on it because they were pretty cute and they had nice chemistry. But now, especially after talking with you, I'm back on it was disappointing. It should have been better. It could have been better. It had so many good pieces. And I think that's what's frustrating, is when you see so many positive elements, that it's kind of like this movie, The Fall Guy, that's coming out. I was very disappointed in it. It has good things about it, but it has all the pieces are there. It should have been great, and it wasn't great. So in my opinion, of course, I don't know. I'd give this one 2.5.
I was going to do the exact same thing, because the only reason I did it was because of the bookstore.
Yeah, it was cute, and they were cute. I think they were good together. I'd see them again in something else.
Yeah,
but just
not
stronger writer, stronger script. Sorry. Okay. Then we had on the 13th, we had Legend of the Lost Locket. And this is Natasha Burnett and Viv Leacock, director Michael Fair, writer Michelle Ricci. When an antiques expert takes on a quest to find a long-lost locket that promises to bring the wearer true love, she finds herself in conflict with, but also attracted to, the town sheriff. Well, so this one, I must admit, I wanted to like more than I did. I really like Natasha and Viv. I was excited for it. We had Natasha on the podcast. She's a delight. We love her. And this one was just, unfortunately, just really dry. It just was not interesting. I just was not interested in anything with the locket. Like when it was just the two of them talking about anything other than the case or whatever, the locket, then I enjoyed that. And I liked them both. And I do like them both. And I hope they get used again. But I don't know. I just thought the story was not interesting to me.
I will have to say it was the opposite because I was
Oh,
invested
yeah?
in the locket, but I will have to mind you, I love them both. I know they're
I
on
do.
which call the hearts. Parties don't come for me. I have a question. Maybe some heart markies have a question too. Anybody else audition for Marcus's part? Because I wanted to know, did Brooks Darnell audition for this? And if so, was he not available to do this?
Well,
I
the
can
thing
I can
is,
see him doing this. I can see him being
yeah.
this year. I was like,
Well, I mean, it's tough to compare anyone to Brooks Darnell. I mean, he's one of the most handsome people I've ever seen in my life.
it would have been
And charismatic. But
it would have been
so Natasha told me that they actually pitched the idea to Hallmark, the two of them.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So there wasn't like auditions. I don't think it was just them. And I like Viv. I think he has an everyman kind of quality. He's
now
not
like
Brooks Darnell is like a movie star. He could model for like I mean, he's gorgeous. But Viv is very nice looking. He's very good looking.
Yes, he's like the hometown. Like I get why
yeah.
they went through this vibe. Like hit the hometown,
it's just not like a fair comparison. I mean,
it's not. I need to stop. No, I love you two. To bits. If for any reason we do a part 2 or Tasha has a cut, let me know.
Yeah. There's so many stories where I feel like Hallmark's trying to do Signed, Sealed, Delivered, but without the writing of Martha Williamson, which makes those stories work so well. It just almost always is real dry and just not a compelling story. I was not interested at all in this locket or what happened with the locket or where it was or the different places it was or it just I don't know. I just didn't care.
I'm sitting here I'm like on this treasure hunt, like who had what? This person hiding what? I'm like they're batting back and forth. I'm like,
you liked the story, huh?
I actually did. I was really surprised. At first, I'm like, this probably be whack, but I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm invested. They're going to get going to get cannoli.
And she ends up in jail. That was kind of surprising for Hallmark.
I'm just sitting here like a lot is happening. Getting her
and I was happy for her that she got to have her regular accent. And,
yes,
I love it on When Calls the Heart, and she's great. I love her. I hope that they keep using her. She should be in more.
Yeah, and also, you know what? I know another actress who's there. Her name is was it Samantha, who played Vic's sister in the movie. Hallmark. Give her a lead. She's been doing the background. She's been hitting it. Like she's been in other Hallmark movies as well.
She was good. I liked her too.
Yeah, give her a shot. She can deliver.
Yeah, and it was fun to see Kevin O'Grady back. Because he was in the Garage Sale Mysteries, and I enjoyed him in those. And Beverly Elliott as Aunt Enid, she was fun.
Always, I love her.
I liked her. She was good. And there were some nice moments of banter. And this was written by the same lady who had done the Haley Dean mysteries with Viv. So I think she had a pretty good feel for him and his personality and style. Yeah, I think maybe one thing that makes the Signed, Sealed, Delivered work better for this kind of they have a letter, they have a poster, they have a picture, they have a locket, that kind of story is that because there are more of them, there's a whole team. So it's really not that much about the letter. It's not that much about the locket. It's about, these people and continuing on in their stories. And so maybe that's something that if they do more of these kinds of stories, like what might have made this work better for me is if maybe there were 4 or 5 people all looking into the locket and so you kind of, it just would make it more interesting. It's not as boring to me, but I mean, I do really like Natasha. I really like Viv. And so I hope that they keep getting used by Hallmark.
Most definitely. I think this is like their first actual film together.
It's her first lead. She'd ever done. Yeah. And I think it might have been his, now I think about it, his first lead, because he's usually supporting. Yeah, usually supporting. So there we go. I would give this one 3 crowns.
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay.
I want to say 4. I was like 3.5. I want it a little bit more, but
it's interesting because I think now on the Hallmark Mysteries, they are just having franchises.
Yeah,
this should have been on Mysteries.
This
was a mystery, like completely.
Yes, definitely want to say is a mystery. Definitely could have seen it as a series, maybe like a 2 movie, 3 movie series situation.
Yeah.
To break it up.
Yeah.
I want to see beforehand back in time.
It's true, especially because she's like appraising all those different items. Yeah. You could see how that could work into a bunch of different mysteries as being an appraiser like that. So yeah, I was kind of surprised that it was on regular Hallmark Channel.
Yeah. But remember, the reason why it was on a regular Hallmark Channel was because Witch Card of Heart was coming out for the new season.
Yeah.
Just saying. True.
Embark on a delightful journey with the Romance of Rings series by award-winning author Esther Hatch. Discover a world where sweet historical romance meets laugh-out-loud comedy. The first book, Manor for Sale, Baron Included, is free on Kindle from April 25th to 29th. Grab it so you can enjoy Lord Farnsworth's bumbling attempts at wooing the wealthy new owner of his mother's estate. Don't miss the newest release in the series, There Goes the Groom, which is already being hailed as a new favorite Esther Hatch novel. Find out more on this and all of Esther's books at estherhatch.com. That's ESTHERHATCH.com, or use the affiliate link below.
Well, next we have Falling in Love in Niagara. It's on the 20th, and it stars Jocelyn Houdon and Dan Janot, director Marita Grabiak. After her fiance leaves her before their wedding, Madeline goes to Niagara Falls to honeymoon without him. There she reconnects with her adventurous side, learns to let go, and finds new love. What did you think about this one?
This was giving me 2 Tickets to Paradise. Her movie that she did in the Mel V with the resort dude. That was giving. And it was like if they got together, they had a baby in Niagara Falls. And it was okay. It wasn't like
I hated it. I hated it. This is one of my least favorite Hallmark movies I've seen in a long time. I really, really disliked it, and I like both, especially Dan. I love him.
We just talked about Dan like a whole month ago.
He's like a favorite. I love him. So charming, but I thought they made both of these characters so unlikable. I did not care about either of them, and I certainly didn't care about either of them falling in love. And I guess that could be interesting, but just not what I'm looking for in a Hallmark movie. And the writer of this, Carly Smale, she is solid. She's a very good writer. She did Christmas Pen Pals, one of my all-time favorites. And I mean, it's not good in your Hallmark movie if I am completely on the side of the fiance breaking up with her. I mean, I would have broken up with her too.
I was like, wait a minute, why I'm on his side? And then towards the end, I switched back to her side. But I was like, how I'm on? She was definitely OCD. I know people
controlling everything, deciding what he should eat, deciding what he should do, deciding what they were going to do on their honeymoon. He had no say in anything that was in their life. Like, that's not a way to live. Like, you can't live that way. And so I was not like happy with her at all. And then I thought he was maybe worse. Like, I really disliked him. I mean, he refuses to do his job. I mean, heaven forbid she's hiring him to be a tour guide, and he's like, "Oh, you want me to make all these reservations?" Like what?
I feel this.
That's your job. Like, he was acting like she was such a diva because she had this like list of stuff that she wanted to do on her trip. Like, what? That's what you're there for. That's what you do. And so I was very turned off, despite Dan's incredible likability. I was very turned off by his character. And I'm just like, wow, you're just like a jerk and not good at your job, not good at doing your job. And so it was very hard for the movie to win me over after that, like, really rough start. I just disliked both of the characters so much that it was hard to come back from it for me.
Maybe they should have had places in Hawaii, because he had this whole laid back situation, like he was on the on the island, like
Yeah.
that was island people, like some of them do, like they're just relax and like just go with the flow. Like
Then don't be a tour guide. A tour guide, like,
that's not your calling.
like I'm not hiring a tour guide to be chill and to just go with the flow. I'm hiring a tour guide to give me a tour, to like take me to stuff. Like, what? Can you imagine if you, let's say you, Jazzman, you're paying me to give you a tour of Salt Lake. Okay. So you come for a visit, and you're like, and I'm like, oh, I didn't really schedule anything. I didn't have any, because we're just going to go with the flow. We're just going to be like, you would be so mad.
Oh, I want to see this. I'm like, sure, I'm gonna go see High School Musical. Like, I'm ready.
Like, that's not being high maintenance to have like a schedule of stuff I want to do on my trip. Like, that's like being a normal human being, especially because like if he had like taken 5 seconds to like ask her a couple questions and being like, why is this important to you? Oh, it's because this is where your grandparents met and went on, their
that phone call. I was looking at him crazy.
Literally a 2-minute conversation. He would understand, like, okay, this is why this is important to you. It's not like she's just checking stuff off a list, of like stuff she read in a guidebook. Like, she has a personal connection with the stuff that she wants to do. And if he had just listened to her, he'd be like, oh, I can see how that'd be meaningful for you. I'll make this happen. And it's just like, you're the worst tour guide ever. And like, she's kind of a terrible person, but you're like also terrible.
Two terrible people coming together, falling in love in Niagara Falls.
And you cannot have a relationship where you are making all the decisions for the other person. Like, that's just not going to work. Like, you have to listen to what they're interested in and what they want, and like at least pretend to care about it. I mean, I may be single, but I know at least that like 90% of any relationship is listening and not talking.
Yeah, like you got to listen to your partner. Like, dang.
She was a terrible listener.
She only cared about was me.
Yeah.
And she gets nervous. I know, even though she's OCD, she gets very nervous and she just fishes the pens. I'm like, yeah.
And she's got all this like abandonment trauma and all this stuff. And, I get that. I get that. But if it's so debilitating for you, then you should not be in a relationship. I mean, this was never going to work, this relationship, the way that she was treating him at the beginning.
Exactly. This reminds me of The Bachelor, where they chose each other, and then like after the final rose, they broke up.
Yeah.
Because she was OCD and he wasn't a clean person.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I can give this movie is there were some nice moments of the adventuring, the various zip line and the other stuff, like, and they made Niagara look really fun, and yeah,
I'm down to go now.
Yeah, well, I read, because I was interested. I was like, why isn't this a national parks movie? Because it seems like a national parks movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely 100%.
Right. Well, I guess I was reading that. So this whole thing was all filmed on the Canada side.
Okay.
And evidently the like US side is like not nice at all. It's like really badly kept up, really like, yeah, like kind of dangerous and just not, it was on Twitter and some people are saying, so they like had to make it to the Canada side. So that's why it's not, I mean, I don't know if that's why it's not a national park movie, but it sounds like it could be part of the reason why, because it was all on like the Canada side, which I guess is way nicer. than the
And
US
probably
side.
work with their budget too and
Yeah.
what they spending. But please, y'all, we gotta make sure we take care of our national parks. Like
Yeah.
I know we did community service on Saturday, so we're
Yeah.
moving rocks, we're taking out trash. But
Right.
please keep up with our national parks so that we
Yeah.
can save it for future generations and
Yeah.
movies.
Exactly. And so that was probably a good call in there to go with the Canada side. It's like it was a lot nicer. Um, but yeah, what did you think of this whole subplot with these friends that they met? It was
That was
so
like,
weird to me.
yeah, you're invited to my wedding. You're just like, mind you, I'm a single gal. I go to concerts. I'm trying to get back to my concert life, but I go to concerts. I meet friends,
Yeah.
stuff like that. We update each other on lives. We get
Sure,
that, but
sure.
not like the first day I meet y'all and like,
Come
oh,
to our wedding.
like let's get a wedding. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, it's just funny to me because uh they not only invite them to their wedding, but they give them an invitation to their wedding. And at the wedding, there was literally 4 people at this wedding. I'm like, did you only make 4 invitations? Did you know nobody that you wanted to invite to your wedding?
It didn't correlate with me until now. Wow.
There was nobody there. And I can guarantee you this, if I only had 4 people at my wedding and it was interrupted by 2 of the people making this big like proclamation and love and everything like that, I'd be like, what?
Not to go get your girl. I'm like, yeah.
I'm like, can one day be about me?
This was not planned out though, but her dress was cute though. I'm gonna keep it real. Her dress was cute.
Yeah, there was some nice fashion moments, and I do think the song was decent. Like that he wrote for her this song, and everything, and it was nice to hear Dan playing and everything, but it was too little, too late.
Yeah.
It was too little, too late, and that I just didn't buy that she's going to give up all of everything for this guy, and especially when the fiance comes back and she puts in, I don't know.
I was shocked about that. Like she really took him back.
I mean, I wasn't shocked because I was like, okay, that's the way this terrible screenplay is going, but I didn't like it. It didn't make any sense. If anything, he should be clicking his heels that he got away from this crazy person.
I know. But you know what? I had to throw in this Easter egg. So remember when she was crying on the couch, watching watching a movie?
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Tell me why that movie is going to be in the marathon for all the what you call the heart movies, like stars. I think
which one was it? I can't remember.
It was The Winter Princess with Natalie Hall.
Oh yeah.
Chris. I was like, I'm like, Hallmark, hear me out. I love what you did. You should do this for future movies to give Easter eggs of what's going to happen in coming months for different sections, so that we can be intrigued. Like, what is she watching? And
yeah, I like it when they do that. It's fun. I mean, Netflix does that all the time.
Yeah,
where they'll have like a clip from like the Christmas Prince in the Princess Switch, movies or things like that, which is fun. I like that. Yeah, I really disliked this one. I don't know, give it a 1 maybe.
Dang,
it was not for me.
I gave it a 2.5.
Okay.
I did it for the water.
There was some fun adventuring, I'll give it that. Okay, so then we had Branching Out, and this was on the 27th, and it stars Sarah Drew, Juan Pablo de Pace, director McLean Nelson. To help build a family tree, single mom Amelia tracks down her daughter's biological father. It becomes a journey of trust, love, and discovering the meaning of family. So this one for me, I just couldn't get over this premise. I just don't like the premise. I don't think it's right to go like hunting down somebody who doesn't want to be found, who's donated he's made a donation. It's supposed to be private. It's supposed to be, and yeah, like everything turns out fine. But what if he was like married? What if he had no desire for anybody to know that he had donated? I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like the premise. and it was just, I couldn't get over it. But if I'm able to kind of just pretend that it's just that they just met some other way, then it was cute enough. They did have nice chemistry. I liked the two of them together. The little girl was absolutely adorable. They should keep using her. She is very good. Almost too cute, like at certain points. Like she was really cute. And they should, I mean, I hope that people that cast child actors are paying attention, because she was extremely good, I think. Yeah, so there's that. I mean, I don't know what this teacher is thinking, giving this assignment. And like especially when the little girl comes up to her and says, I can't really do this assignment. Can you give me an alternate? Is there another way that I can do it? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, why doesn't she just make her family tree about maybe a friend, or even like her auntie, her like adopted, aunt. Like, she could do the family tree on that. Or it wouldn't necessarily have to be her exact ancestors. She could just do a family tree on anybody that's in her life, like there's a million other solutions that you could have beyond like, well, you'll just have to figure it out. Like, what?
And this is a perfect example, everybody, to understand, especially with people who are in foster care, adoptees, VF, like when giving these assignments, I know it's slowly getting better over time, but especially in these situations, there needs to be an alternate course with the project, and have a different rubric. If you have a family tree, you can do that. Or just even, I know I'm jumping ahead towards the end a little bit, and she can give you that option of how she did it. Right, but you need to have an option where you're going to be a little bit more sensitive, where you may have students who are in foster care in these situations where they may not know their family history, and it may be a touchy subject for them, and you need to have an alternate,
or the teacher could say, well, why don't you do my family tree? Or like, because the whole point is just learning about ancestors and learning about what a family tree is. Mm-hmm. Perfectly valuable. Just say, okay, here, you can do it on me. Like, just providing another option is, I think, completely appropriate. I mean, I remember when I was in second grade, we had to do a report on a television show, but my family didn't have cable, didn't have TV at the time. And there were, this is long before streaming, because I'm old. And so I had to go up to my teacher and say, we don't have TV. and so I ended up doing it on a book, I think, which like perfectly reasonable sub out.
Yeah, definitely. Or it could have been like a book based on a TV series.
Yeah.
Like,
even or a movie or something like that. Like,
even she could
figure out a different solution.
Yeah, like maybe a book report, like about your journey as, this is my version of my family.
Yeah.
It may not be traditional, but this is my version of my family.
Yeah. Or you could even, if you wanted to be sort of creative, like what if she like did a kind of a fictional version of what she imagines her family would be like, and this is what my grandma, grandpa, whatever, like this is what they might have been like. And and you could have them like have to create like certain personality traits or whatever for like, I know there's just a million solutions. Like the fact that this teacher didn't listen to this.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like,
girl.
And also for teachers as well, maybe they're watching as well, like be cautious with your students and understand all your students, because then everybody's not going to have the same path. Like some people may have a 2-parent home or a 1-parent home, or maybe they are in foster care.
Yeah.
And actually when they come up to you, be like, really listen to them. Like, oh, I need to do better on this project. How can I edit this for my students to not feel left out or feel ashamed? Like,
and I also disagree with when she comes up to the first meeting and she's like, you have a daughter? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a daughter. Like, parentage is a lot more than just genetic material. Mm-hmm. He made a donation of, just like you donate blood, you donate all different kinds of things.
Yeah, he needed it for the money.
He made a donation, and that's it. He's not a parent. He doesn't have a daughter. You have a daughter. and who is genetically connected to this man.
Mhm.
There's a movie right now out in theaters called Someone Like You, which is about this one girl. She passes away, and her parents had given the fertilized embryos, donated them after they had her. And so then the plot ends up being they go out to try to find the sister, quote unquote. And I thought it was so strange. They were acting like in the movie, they were acting like this was like such a betrayal that the mother hadn't told her that she was, they kept calling it an adopted embryo. I'm like, what? What is I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody. I just never heard that term before. And it's not an adoption in my eyes when you have birthed the baby. Like, it's your child. Like, it came from your womb. Like, it's just because you got donated material doesn't, in my mind, make it an adoption. I think that, I don't know. And just the way that they were talking about it as if it was the same as like a birth adoption was odd to me.
And they reminded me, I need to watch that movie. It has my friend.
It's not a terrible movie. I actually recommended it, but like, I would never think of that as an adoption when she birthed the child, and just because she'd gotten donated fertilized embryo. Like, to me, that's not an adoption. Like, anyway, but and so you just have to be careful with terminology, I feel like, in things like this. Mm-hmm. Calling him a parent, calling him this is his daughter. No, it's not. The script did not nail it for me with this in that regard.
Yeah, it could have been better, a little bit more better with the terminology. It could have, I think, like,
I almost would have preferred if they had just met by accident and then realized, like, oh my gosh, we have this like return to me kind of thing. Like, we have this amazing connection that we never would have thought, rather than her like seeking them out and like getting his, the DNA service and all of that. Like, that felt it made me a little uncomfortable because his privacy was being violated. Whereas if they just met randomly and then like found out as a big reveal, like, that would have been better, I think.
Oh, I like that idea where, okay, all of a sudden, like, boom, like, wait a minute, what's this here? And like, wait, like, why you have my records? I'm like, what are you talking about? And then, boom!
Yeah, like, if he'd stumbled in, let's say they meet and they have this connection, and then he stumbles upon her listening to that little recording he did, that they play.
Yes.
He's like, oh my gosh, that's me. Like, that's me when I was younger or whatever. I made that recording, or just something like that, I think would be more palatable than, we're going to send in the DNA. We're going to get the research. We're going to find you. We're going to hunt you down. We're going to come to your house. We're going to, like, I just didn't love that approach.
Yeah, like, I would be more freaked out, even more, like, wait, I'm a what? Like, wait. And then the parents were like, so like gung-ho, like, wait a minute, you're not even freaking out the fact that your son, like, not saying this is right to donate, stuff like that, though, but I would be freaking out knowing, like, I have a grandchild and, like, what the heck? And they're just cool with it.
The other way they could have done it is if they need, like, if she has leukemia or something. I mean, it would have made it a lot sadder. Yes! But if she needs like a bone marrow transplant or something like that, then you need, then you might need to find the father. So that could have been another approach. I'm sure they considered that, but yeah, it's a shame, because I do think that I think they had nice chemistry. And if I could just divorce all of that part of it and just have them be, oh, we meet cute, you like my kid, we're got to know each other. You're a struggling musician, and I have all my abandonment issues. Like, If it had just been that part of it, I was fine with all that. It was cute. The
Her
little girl was
abandonment
adorable.
issues were killing me. Like there is no therapist on site. But I think I'm thankful for the best friend because the best friend had to put her in her place a little bit sometimes. But I was like, oh, my abandonment issues went away. No, it didn't. No, it
yeah,
didn't.
I mean, I almost feel like with somebody with that level of abandonment issues, she would not have even done this. I mean,
like she should have been in a therapy session having conversations.
Should have.
Yeah. I would have seen the therapist.
It's true.
In her having conversations like, my child wants to do this. How can I do this? Because I've been abandoned and X, Y, and Z. But I will say this though, TJ's dad was a zaddy. All I could say, he was so. I'm like, why is his dad was so fine? It made no sense. He reminded me of like Aladdin 3, the 40 Thieves, Aladdin's dad. That's
yeah. No, that's true. He did. You're right. He really does look like him.
Yes,
that's true.
So to let everybody know, if y'all doing, please don't do live action version. But if I did have a live action version of that, Aladdin's dad.
Yeah, they should if they ever do it. Hire him to play Aladdin's dad.
But it was crazy because she's talking about she was from California. I'm like, baby, if she was talking about that hot sauce, I was like,
yeah. I mean, you would also think that if these parents, like somebody would have asked the question, like, how many times did you donate? Like, how many people are out there?
Like, I'm gonna need to ask more questions because, like, they were just solely chill about this. There was a site. I'm like, this is something you should be wondering, like, what's going on? Were you out in these, like, I need to know. Like, they act like it was like a.
I just think like
put up for adoption. I was like,
donating cells, which was basically what it is. Like, donating does not make you a parent. Like, genetics doesn't really have hardly anything to do with parentage.
That part, that kind of like sucked on that end of it. You know, I love the fact that the daughter was getting that moment of like finding family and finding who she is.
Yeah,
I feel like they did a different route of branching off. Like, you know, me someone get to know that person. Like, I like you. You're part of my family. You're part of my family tree, but not knowing you are part of my family tree this whole time. And
yeah, well, and I do like how they didn't make him completely give up him going on this tour and his other things for, you know, this new relationship that he's in. Because one of the things that drove me absolutely bonkers in Chesapeake Shores was the fact that everybody treated Trace like he was a villain because he was going on tour and singing. It's like, that's it. That's who he is. Like, he's gonna go on tour. Like, he's not a bad guy because, like, if you didn't want him to go on tour, then don't date a singer. Like,
thank you. And let's be clear, everybody, in the movie, y'all, the mics were on. Those were real vocals, y'all.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that scene.
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter too. Like, they said that like one of their best scenes was like the performance. Yeah. I just felt like I need an encore.
I think Juan Pablo de Pace, he should be in tons of these. He's very good. He's very good. Is. Yeah.
I can definitely see him in a fall harvest movie.
Yeah, I really liked his one with Laura Osnes. The one, like, normally those wine movies are really boring, but that one was actually pretty good. Raise a Glass, I think is what it's called.
I think so.
Yeah, he was good and they were good.
Yeah.
So he should be in more of these. He's good. And of course I love Sarah. I mean, she really tried in this. I mean, if it worked at all, it worked because of her. She's such a good actress, and she.
I would say the real star that's besides, you know, TJ's dad, and it was the little girl.
The little girl was great. She was very good.
You did it. If you're listening, you did that. I can't wait to see you in more Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
The indie, especially just playing your family. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried.
She was really good. She was really good.
And then she painted the pictures in my heart. It was just like, these are the roots. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And that's how you do.
Yeah, I would give this one 2.5.
It was definitely a 3 for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. So there we go. That is, and to my huge surprise, my favorite, even including shifting gears, was In Easter Bloom. I never would have guessed that out of this group. That one would be my favorite, but there we go.
Let's see. Out of my pick, I will definitely we'll have to move the orders around, but I definitely would have had I'm sorry, I was talking for the mystery, like
the
Lost Lucky, and then the Easter,
good.
and then the Easter bloom, and then I'll bump up, the branching me and everything else.
Yeah.
Fell to my side.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little preview of what we've got. So they're re-releasing. They've been doing this whole year, re-releasing the Hallmark movies, mysteries movies on Hallmark Channel. So we've got some of those like Lifelong Love and different things coming out that have already. They did the Now Mater one. They've done a bunch of. So they only have 2 new movies coming out for summer, whatever they call it.
Nice.
And then they have 2 mysteries coming out. So the first one is on the 11th of May, and it's a whitewater romance. Cindy Busby, Ben Hollingsworth, director Jason Bork, and it's Maya attends an exclusive business retreat in the Rocky Mountains where she meets Matt, who initially is her competitor. As they're forced to pair up, an unlikely connection begins to evolve. So I do love me some whitewater. I'm a big water person in general, but this thing sounds so generic. It sounds like we've gotten this movie from Cindy Busby already at least twice, because she already did her National Park movie and she did Chasing Waterfalls already.
I'm sorry, Rachel, because when I heard Cindy's name, I was like, I already knew.
I love Cindy. She's a friend of the podcast.
We love you.
I love and adore her. This just sounds incredibly generic. It could be cute because sometimes, the generic ones work, but it's hard to get too excited about it.
Just change my mind.
Yeah, change my mind. I mean, come on. It just doesn't look good. No, they have worked together in the past. They were in the Godwinks.
Yeah.
Which we should say, I mean, I think we can confidently say Dayspring way better than Godwinks.
That is true.
For sure. Way better. Upgrade. I would give this, like, if we're doing it out of fives, what should we do for summer? 5 suns. I would give this a 2 suns. In anticipation.
You're better than me because I was doing 2.5 suns.
That'd be higher than me.
Ooh, this is a little higher. Maybe you change my mind. Okay. But I'm just rooting. Maybe in due time we might have to have a Cindy, from her top rating movies that she's done so far.
Well, we've done a ranking. It was a couple of years ago, but yeah.
But she added some more to the pile, so we may have to go through and shit them out.
That's true. So then on the 18th is our second one. It's Everything Puppies, and it's Pascal Lamont Kipps and Stephen Huzar, director Marnie Bannock, a dedicated entrepreneur and inventor looking to make it big, creating innovative dog toys and treats, finds success with the support of a handsome client. It sounds like it's harmless, like fun enough.
Right?
I'm sure the puppies will be adorable.
That's a plus. I'm not sold on it yet. I
do think sometimes Steven struggles with chemistry with his co-stars. He doesn't really have anybody that I think he's like really sizzled with. Yeah. He's a super nice guy. I've really enjoyed talking to him. So we'll see, what happens with him and Pascal. She did that Never Been Christ, which wasn't great, but it wasn't her fault. I mean, she was fine in it. It was just a script. This sounds cute enough. It sounds pretty basic, but cute.
Yeah, I think the puppies might like be
the puppies
of the show. And mind you, if there are no puppies in this movie, I'd be really highly upset.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's everything puppies. There better be lots of puppies. And so, just watching her invent these dog treats.
I got a friend. She owns like her own little dog treating business.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she kind of like went to high school with her. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool. That's cool. I'd gotta give it 3. It could be cute.
Oh, you're better than me. I was gonna do 2.5.
Okay. Okay. So then we have on the 17th, we have Family Practice Mysteries Coming Home, Amanda Schull and Brendan Penny. Director Michael Robison, a former Army surgeon, moves back to her hometown and joins a practice of family doctors. But when she's drawn into solving the mysterious death of a patient, her quiet life becomes upended. I mean, this sounds fine. Sounds like a decent enough setup for a mystery to me. But I have not liked Amanda Schull in any of her. I haven't liked any of her Hallmark movies yet. I mean, she's one of those people that on paper should be a perfect fit, but it's like Maggie Lawson too. Both of them should be like a perfect fit for Hallmark, but it's just not been working. And Brendan Penny is not my favorite. He can win me over. I like The Wedding Cottage very much. But then there's other ones like that Christmas Bracelet one that I really disliked his character and didn't like. So I don't know. So he's not a favorite of mine, and he can be a little smug for me in his performances. But again, I liked Wedding Cottage, so maybe this will be another one to win me over. I don't know. But it's hard for me to get like super excited about it because just the casting. But we'll see. I'll give it a 3. Be optimistic. What about you?
I'm trying to think. Did I see her in any movies? I don't judge me,
so
but
she has that one with Peter Porte, which was very disappointing. She has she has the blessing bracelet, which was okay. She's got
she was in that merry-go-round one. Okay.
Oh yeah, that one was terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it goes as planned. In my mind, if this is a surgeon coming back from the war and he's joined this family practice, he better be seeing ghosts and stuff. If not, or like, having like PTSD, from like war and stuff, and he's seeing the ghost. If I'm not getting,
I think she's the former Army surgeon.
Okay.
It says a former Army surgeon moves back to her hometown.
Okay, so
she's the former Army surgeon. I don't know what he is.
He's somebody.
Yeah, because it just says when she's drawn into solving the mysterious death of a patient, her quiet life becomes upended.
He probably connected to that patient. All I gotta say is, if she don't see no ghosts, I don't want to. I said what I said. Okay. Because you're gonna have her on the battlefield coming back doing surgeries and stuff, and she ain't seen no ghost.
Yeah.
That's the mystery in itself. I'm gonna help her along the way with this whole mystery of the body. If I do not see that Hallmark, come find me. You can write the script. And
it could be like the Tamara one.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that sounds better than what we'll probably end up getting, to be honest.
Probably so, because Tamara, she did that.
All right. So what do you give it?
I'm gonna probably give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3 sign. Yeah, I'm gonna see where it goes. If I get that ghost in there, I'm bumping up sons.
All right, last one. So this is very interesting. When we try to do these previews, I look all over IMDb, I look at Hallmark, I look everywhere to try to find as much information as we can. Sometimes that information isn't that helpful. And then like the day after we record, they'll finally release a trailer. So like that happened with the Blind Date book club. We recorded and the IMDb was wrong. It did not have Aaron Krakow anywhere on the IMDb at all. And then literally the day after we recorded, they released a trailer and I was like, oh man. But anyway, but we have on the 16th, there is a movie called Tip Line Mysteries, Dial 1 for Murder, which is going to be on Hallmark Movies Now on the 16th. It stars Holland Roden and Chris McNally. And I could find nothing on this movie. I mean, there's not an IMDb page. There is nothing. I couldn't find a summary. I couldn't find any information on Hallmark Mysteries or Hallmark Channel. Nothing. I could find nothing about who's directing it or what it's about or what the characters are. The only thing I could find is that it stars these two and this is the name. So what I thought would be fun is that if you and I gave a quick pitch of what we think Tip Line Mysteries Dial 1 for Murder is about. And I'm totally putting you on the spot here. So I'll go first. Maybe you can kind of think, about it. So I think Holland Redden must be playing somebody who works at like an unsolved mysteries tip line, right? Where people call in with tips, right? So she gets a call, not for a tip for a crime that's committed. She gets a tip for a crime that's going to happen, Dial 1 for murder. And she starts to kind of look into it because she doesn't want this person to get murdered, but she has to like put in all of the clues and for Tip Line Mysteries. And so there we go. Chris McNally maybe is like her boss or somebody. And it's like, you shouldn't get involved. You just take the tips, leave the tips. That's all you do. She's like, but he's gonna kill him. That's probably darker than Hallmark would ever go, but that was what I came up with. What do you think? What do you think a Tip Line Mysteries is going to be about?
You know what? I'm on the same line as you. Like they have it, like kind of like an old school black and white situation. With the detective on the door. Like someone's calling, like this detective, like this is the Tip Line.
Tip Line Mysteries.
Tip Line Mysteries, like and then you see the secretary like, boss, like this just came in. I'm like, what? Like, and then you're going out, but I love it. If it's a black and white situation, I'm down for this. Like we haven't had something like this in a very long time. If it intrigues me, like make it to like a whole series for reals, because I will watch it.
Yeah, I mean, but it sounds like it's going to be a franchise. Tip Line Mysteries,
like it needs to
Dial
be.
1 for murder.
Like if you're gonna tell this only as a movie and not a series, what if they gave us the movie first and then everybody like, oh yes, this is it, then they roll out the series?
Because there is the classic Agatha Christie story, Dial M for murder.
Ooh.
So if it was kind of this Dial 1 for murder.
Connected?
Yeah. That maybe the tip line is you dial 1. Like it's sort of like the O for operator.
Yeah. They didn't know about that. The New Jersey, they don't know about that.
Yeah. So there we go. That's our best guess. We have no idea. I could find nothing. And we're recording this on Monday, the 29th, and watch by the time we post this on Wednesday, all of a sudden a trailer and all the information will be out.
Probably so, because only has
because Hallmark hates me sometimes.
They have some stars that are on there so far, but
just those two. That's it. Holland Redden and Chris McNally. That's what we know. So anyway, that's we'll just see what it is, and we'll be here to talk about it. So that's our preview of the May movies, and then we had our recap of the April movies, and we are going to be doing a recap of the Curious Caterer and the Hannah Swenson. So that is coming in a separate episode. So look forward to that. And thanks so much, Jazzman. It's always a treat.
You know what? I have fun with this. I'm going to get ready for summertime, get my shades on, yes. Get ready for these movies to pop up. And you never know what can happen.
Hey, and I've been whitewater rafting multiple times. So I'm basically an expert.
I have not. The only thing I've done so far has been canoeing.
Okay. Yeah.
So my next goal is to surf, but not by the shore.
Well, if people want to follow you, how do they do that?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, well, X, but at Shreem16, SHREEM16.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And this week is really fun because we are having a bunch of different fun interviews this week. We had the actress and writer and director of My Divorce Party, on Monday, Desiree and Heidi. That was really fun. And then tomorrow, I have my interview with Rudy Mancuso, who is the creative behind Musica, which I loved. So it's just a really fun, special week on the podcast. So make sure you're tuned into that. And thanks so much, everybody. And make sure that you, if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which is the best way you can support us, and our merch store where we have a bunch of new designs. So you should totally check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.